Yes guys, we are of course back with another video, and right now I'm fearing for my life because this is the second time that I'm recording this thing, because the first one went well but the quality was absolutely terrible, so I'm kind of stoked to be re-recording this whole thing. Now, as promised, we're gonna cover Welcome to Bleaksville Part 2 Nightlife today, and if you've not already noticed, I am in fact wearing a Christmas jumper that says dabbing through the snow. Yeah, I've become cringy. I've become the very thing that I hate, and it's not even December yet, so two things that I dislike. So hopefully all goes well today. I'll cover a bit now, and then a bit later on I'll probably have dry hair or something, because I'll cover the rest of it tomorrow and then hopefully upload on Friday. Hopefully it's Friday now, and I'm just chatting shit, so let's get straight into the bones of this mixtape. Here it is, Welcome to Bleaksville Part 2 Nightlife. Now let me just warn you guys before this video starts that there will of course be explanations of graphic content, as with most mixtapes. Here we go. You start off with the Local 58 logo. Now if you don't know what Local 58 is, it's actually an ARG that was covered, or is covered, by many horror YouTubers on YouTube. So you get a few entry screens from this ARG. Basically says, do not go outside, do not look at the moon, all that kind of stuff, you know, your typical Local 58 intros from YouTube. And this mixtape, of course, I believe is made by the person who made the first one, and that is of course Cherry Cartel, so her name pops up with the little anime thing that I mentioned in the last one. And then you get the wonderful entry screen, Welcome to Bleaksville 2 Nightlife. Brilliant. So you start off with a few blurry images. It's basically a drunk or homeless woman lying on the ground, and there's sort of a rat scurrying beside her, eating stuff off the floor, as rats do. Let me just take a second to warn you that there is a lot that goes on in this mixtape. It is a very, very busy mixtape, and I won't blame you if you get completely lost, because this whole thing had me lost for the whole 35 minutes. So to the side of this woman who was being circled by a rat, you see a video of a very drunk man falling into a door. And then you get four separate little videos. So in the top left corner, you've just got a dude who's smoking a joint, and he gets very high and starts making funny faces. In the top right, you've got a very nice video of a woman squirting whipped cream onto a man's penis through the force of her own vagina. Bottom left, you've got a guy who lights his penis on fire and then starts freaking out when it won't go out, so he starts rubbing his penis like that to try and get the fire out. And then bottom right, you've got a quick video of a man who snorts some snot out of his nose, a massive glob, and it makes its way down his face, and then he sniffs it back up. So those four videos disappear, and we're greeted by an old Indian man who has the top lip of his mouth pulled up to reveal hundreds of tiny maggots. And then we get more of these sort of compilation of videos. There's a woman at one point, looks like a TikTok of a woman with huge breasts, and she asks us if we know that she's a black belt in karate, in which she then proceeds to start throwing punches and kicks at the camera. And meanwhile, while this is all going on, there's some kind of 70s or 80s like dance music video going on at the side of it. Looks like a workout music video or something from the 80s. So then them two videos disappear. You've got what looks like a drunk old man walking, shall we say, sexily seductively across the street and then proceeding to pole dance on a street lamp. And I'll give you guys a quick example of this actually while I'm here. So the man comes in like this, and then you've got a street lamp, and he starts doing that with the street lamp, just like that for just 30 seconds or so. I'm going to stop doing that now because I think the neighbours can see me, so that's my bit of exercise done for the next 3 weeks. Then you've got a very strange video of this guy who's lying in bed, and there's like, it's like in a flooded house, and all of a sudden this sort of massive tree branch falls onto him, and a watermelon falls out of his bed and into the flood. I don't know what that's all about. I mean, maybe he was sleeping with the watermelon for comfort or something like that. And then we cut to a whipping contest. There's basically two women in an arena just whipping each other, fighting each other with whips. And then we cut to a video of a woman doing a very strange dance in a graveyard, just sort of flailing everywhere. And then we cut to another guy who's intoxicated or very high. He's basically just leaning over this rail on a bridge. Not over the bridge, but there's a rail on the bridge which he's leaning over, and he's sticking his tongue out at the ground, and then he just sort of flops over the rail and passes out. So the first 3 minutes are basically just quite funny and comedic in a way. And I forgot to mention the background too. It's mainly just like, it looks like late 70s to early 80s music videos that keep popping up in the background. And then up on your right side there's a very, very weirdly filtered and coloured video of a guy who gets his finger chopped off by a butcher's knife. You don't see anything, but you can see the knife, you know, coming down. And then we cut to this like huge explosion. I don't mean just like a bomb explosion, I mean like this thing looks nuclear level. And back in the right side, this video reappears, and it's just the guy who lost his finger crying as any normal person would. Then we get like this 30s looking intro which comes up, and that's basically the starting line for all the, should we say, big boy stuff that's about to happen. So this is where it all goes a bit crazy. This is all the crazy stuff that I talked about at the start happening within the mixtape. So to your left you've basically got this street fight, and the first thing I actually noticed was that in the background you've actually got gameplay of a dark web game called Sad Satan, and the game's actually known for its apparent, in the early days, its apparent depiction of illegal things, as well as pictures of sex offenders, murderers, and political stuff, and some gore as well also exists in the game. It's basically pictures that pop up as you play in this game, and luckily it doesn't show any illegal stuff because it's, well, illegal. So in this street fight that's going on, there's basically a dude in a grey tracksuit, and he just gets picked up and launched to the ground. I mean, like, not just picked up and, you know, just put on the ground, he proper launched to the ground. And to the right of this, you're right, you basically get some kid who's dead. I think there's just blood pissing out of his neck, and then he just gets shot 3 times, twice in the head and once in the chest. So the street fight's basically continuing on the left. Nothing too interesting happens on your left, but like I say, it was at this point I realised that you've just got to have eyes absolutely everywhere on this thing. On your right, a man appears to be lying down on the floor, and all of a sudden I think somebody shotguns his neck, and his neck just sort of bleh, that's the best way I can put it. It just sort of cracks up, and you can just see every bit of the inside of his throat. And on your left you've got a video of 2 lads who are basically getting their palms whipped by a stick, I can only presume that this was for stealing, possibly, and it looks like it may be somewhere in like Brazil or Mexico. And remember that shotgun guy that I mentioned on the right? Now they're basically beheading this dude and just stabbing him over and over. So then that video ends, and it's basically just a video of a guy in like the Slavic squat position, and he's covering his hands with his head with his hands, sorry, and he just gets shot in the head. So then that one ends, and there's basically a video of a woman standing in the dark, and in like a first person view, somebody just reaches up, shoots her with a pistol, and while she's down she gets shot again. And then lo and behold, a middle video pops up, and it's basically just a guy beheading a blonde woman. I really hope you guys are keeping up with this, because I'm definitely not. So that pistol video ends of that woman in the dark, and it just cuts to a guy, a half-naked guy, standing in a grave, and he gets a shotgun to the head. Now to your left, if you remember, was basically the hand whipping video. Now where that video was, it's been replaced by a woman who's talking in the snow, and I don't know what they're talking about, but she gets kicked down into a pile of snow. And to your left, you've got a guy, in the same video, you've got a guy dressed in like jungle camo, and obviously you can't see him because he's dressed in camo. Dad jokes. And yeah, nothing really happens. He just gets kicked down a few times, and he's just basically got a shotgun, and that's it. And they're just talking. So where that grave video was on your left, you've got a video now of a guy who's tied up, and this rusty pickaxe comes into view, and all of a sudden somebody hits him in the head with it, and the pickaxe, the sharp bit of the pickaxe goes straight through his head, and it's like, holy shit, it's bad. It probably hits him around 4 times with this rusty pickaxe. It's like, talk about like one man, one pickaxe or whatever. Jesus Christ. And in the same spot where that video was, there's basically 3 men going completely apeshit on another guy, just hitting him with sticks hard. So on your right, where this video of the woman in the snow was, there's a video of a woman who's basically lying down in a grave, I presume dug by herself, and she gets shot in the head. That video ends, and another video comes up just of a guy's face with a massive stick poking out of it and covered in blood, and I presume he's dead. And then at the end of the video somebody thumbs up the camera. And then it shows us a bit of the Sad Satan gameplay, including one of the pictures that actually pops up during the gameplay, which is a picture of Jimmy Savile. And if you don't know who he is, he's actually a British sex offender, unfortunately close to where I live. Yeah. And beside that is pictured with Margaret Thatcher, who was a British politician. So there's a couple of creepy ones now, and by creepy I don't mean like scary creepy, I mean like men being creepy, you know, that kind of thing, which is where the Jimmy Savile thing comes in. So we cut to this video of some CCTV in an elevator. A little girl proceeds to come into the elevator, in which this creepy man, he's not old or anything, he's just really weird, starts talking to her and then slaps her across the face. And luckily the elevator doors open and she manages to walk out. Another girl comes in, and this creep tries to look under a skirt. Fucking weird individual, disgusting individual. And luckily he's stopped from doing anything further by a guy who actually enters the elevator, luckily, and then to leave together. But it would have been nice to see some kind of comeuppance for this horrible individual. And then we cut to some more CCTV footage. A maroon sort of looking car pulls up, and a guy gets out of the car. And on the sidewalk, or the pavement, as we call it over here, there's a family of 4 walking along the pavement, and this dude kidnaps this kid, puts him in his car, and luckily the 3 other women who were with this kid luckily pull this kid out of this guy's car, and the guy drives off. And if it helps settle your mind a little bit, this guy, when he drove off, people were shouting at his car and throwing things at his car. And yeah, again, another bloody weirdo. Another video comes up and there's basically 2 girls talking to the camera. And they probably look about 13 or 14. And next to them there's this old man wearing a snapback, which really doesn't suit him, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what they're talking about, but it cuts to this old man basically getting his limbs proper busted up by some guys hitting him with steel baseball bats. Then we cut to a short video of somebody lying on the ground, and what happens is somebody fires like 5 shotgun shells. I don't know if shotguns can take that much shells in one, but something gets fired into his head about 5 times and his head is just non-existent by the end of it. And we also get another view of this by some guy riding along on a bike. Maybe it was a guy who was part of it, I don't know. And they're basically recording the aftermath of what happened to this guy. Then it shows like a half-naked old guy who is actually the dude from the video that I've just spoken about. It basically cuts to a still image of his body on the ground, obviously brain matter and just gore everywhere, all over the pavement. And tied around his neck is a cardboard little note that says Sadiko. I don't know what that means, but I'll provide a translation. And then we see a pretty blurry video. You can't really see anything of somebody getting hit with like whips and sticks, and I think there's a machete there, I'm not sure. Something gleams in the night sky. But then he gets dragged across the ground into the middle of like this crossroads. And then he gets up and walks off. And there's pedestrians going by him, by the way. Like they're literally looking at him and just walking on. Then the next clip comes along and it's another CCTV video of a bloke running across the camera, and there's some dude following him with a knife. It looks like he runs into some kind of construction area, and the guy with the knife just stabs him. I apologise for the fireworks in the back. It's not even 5th of November anymore. Come on guys, I'm trying to record here. Anyway, this guy sort of just gives up, lies on the ground and just takes his stabbing, I suppose. And then the stabber just walks off casually as if nothing happened. And then we have a few animal videos, specifically cats. Now this actually shocked me and it caught me off guard because the first video comes up and there's this cat in a cage, and it looks like it's had oil and stuff poured on it beforehand, and a dude lights a match and the whole cage obviously goes up in flames, as well as the cat. And the saddest thing about this is the cat is just trying to get the fuck out of that cage, and he's screeching and just trying to get out, and oh god, yeah, it's horrible, horrible to see. Another cat video comes up and it's a guy who has tied sheets around a cat's neck and pulls it tight and then grabs both ends of the sheet and whacks the cat against his camera that he's recording from. There's a quick video of a guy who hits a kitten over the head with an object, not killing it but essentially giving it brain damage. And then there's a dude who's holding a ginger cat upside down, he's smacking it with, again, an object, no idea what it is. Luckily the cat breaks free and runs away. And then we have a video of a black cat being hung, and I thought I might have seen this at the start of MD Pub at some point, but it's a completely different video. This cat's basically got a noose around its neck, and its hind legs are standing on a bucket, and obviously the bucket gets kicked out from underneath it and the cat is just left to hang. There's a quick video of some guy wearing a Supreme t-shirt throwing a cat off a roof, And then next up there's a guy with a cage full of cats, and he puts a stick into the cage, and one of the cats takes the bait, grabs the stick, in which is then lifted up and put into some kind of pan, and this is in the middle of the street as well. And then just to end today, just today in general, this isn't the end for you guys, there's going to be loads more where that came from. You've got a Hello Kitty sketch, so we're finishing on something nice. It's basically just a sketch of Hello Kitty answering the phone and then having like a shocked face and then putting the phone down and runs off, and it's probably from the amount of cat abuse that she's just seen in this mixtape. So now I'm going to give you over to future me, 24 hours in the future. Alright, it's a new day and we're going to continue on with the rest of this mixtape. I've got my glass of red wine here because it's Friday tomorrow and we need that Friday feeling. So, leaving off from the Hello Kitty sketch, the next video comes up and it's just a dude being hit several times with a giant plank of wood. And then there's another video of a man on the ground being hit by crowbars, I believe. And if I've noticed something about this mixtape, it's that it's a very common sort of thing, you know, people down on the ground being hit by various objects. Again, somebody's lying on the ground and somebody throws a giant rock at the head and blood just sort of goes everywhere. Again, another guy on the ground, he looks like he's covered in like tar, and again, massive sticks. It just seems to be very common. Big sticks and people on the ground. Another video, same thing, don't need to explain it. And then videos again start popping up at either side. For example, there's a guy on the ground who gets rocks thrown at his head, and it says that this man sexually assaulted a girl in St. Lucia. On your left, a short video of a man appears who is covered in blood and he's slowly dying on the sidewalk or the pathway, and he's sort of gasping for air. And there's a video that pops up that lasts for about 3 minutes, I suppose, and it's really just people having a dance in a nightclub. They're having a bit of a rave. They look like they've taken some like LSD or something, but they're just having a good old time having a dance, and it's quite a funny video. There's a few characters there. And next up we've got a pretty cool but spooky video of a guy who is doing contortionism. Now you might have seen this bloke before. It's the same bloke who does the stunts for, if you've ever seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, there's this sort of monster there that moves really weirdly, like towards the people in the movie, doing like contortions and all that kind of stuff. And he's actually the stuntman or the actor who does all these stunts. And it's pretty clever, but they've, like, with this video, they've sort of sped it up, quite a bit to make it seem like spooky. And I've seen the video before in normal motion. He sort of jumps at the camera as if to jump scare you. It's pretty cool. And then you get two videos that pop up at the same time. One of them on the left, I believe, is a guy who's electrocuting his own penis with a supercharge kit, and the one on the right is just a person hanging from something with a bag over the head. And then the next one pops up and it's just some strange people wearing makeup, naked, on leashes, and there's a few strange BDSM pictures that pop up. Not that I'm trying to kink shame or anything, you do you. And then there's this porn video of a black guy who puts his whole cock and balls into a woman's anus. And nice. I can't imagine that being too comfortable for anybody in that situation, but again, no kink shaming, it's up to you where you put parts of your body. Oh man, this one was fucking weird. Okay, I've seen a little bit of this before. There's like this alien lying on a table. It looks like a very high quality level porn movie, and there's an alien lying on a table, an exam table, and this guy just sort of, it's tied down and it looks like a really sort of strange kink video. And above that, a video appears of a guy who puts his penis inside a vacuum cleaner and just sort of goes to town on it. And it looks like he's having the best time of his life, honestly. So yeah, I sort of got over that video pretty quickly, and went back to the main alien video where this guy injects this alien's human vagina, might I add, with some kind of fluid, and the alien just goes batshit crazy, and then he ejaculates onto the alien's face. So yeah, I'd like to know the sort of in-between plot to that one. I forgot to mention, at one point during this video, it just cuts to E.T. If you've seen the movie E.T., it cuts to E.T. and he's just sort of looking at the TV, shocked, eating popcorn. And at the bottom left, you've got this guy with a really, really prolapse, swollen bumhole. Weird. I don't know. He starts putting his hands inside it and all that kind of stuff. And all the while, this guy with the vacuum cleaner's still going for it. Probably a good minute or so now has gone by. This other video of a woman with pink hair, completely naked, sort of appears on a staircase, and she starts picking a cigarette, like a dead cigarette bud, off the floor with her teeth. And it's all mucky and dirty. And it cuts to her just like licking walls and eating paint chips off the wall. And then there's a really quick video where like 12 hot dogs just sort of slip out of this woman's vagina hole. Okay. So now this pink-haired girl that you saw in the video that's been running for about 2 minutes now, she's got like this prolapsed anus, and she starts shoving dirt up her bum. Yeah. And it all sort of sticks to the prolapse. Yeah. So now we have what looks like a strange kids show, where there's this guy, this really tall bloke, in like a chicken costume, and it's sort of like set in like a barnyard, and this old guy enters, and there's like a fake cow in a barn, and then a load of kids enter and start dancing together with this weird old man, and they start doing yoga and that kind of stuff. It's just like a really strange kids show, I suppose. But the guy in the chicken costume looks like an absolute chad, so there's that. Yeah, there's not too much to say about that. We continue on, and there's just like, you're met with probably about 25 seconds of just like satanic symbols popping up, and Baphomet, and all that kind of stuff. Next clip, you've got a guy with an ISIS flag who blows a guy's head off, and then you get a load of pictures in quick succession, which is pretty good shock value, because you're not ready for the pictures. Most of them are just sort of like, I don't know, car accidents, split open heads. You've even got just a woman's torso at some point, with no limbs. It's just all that kind of stuff, you know, just really bad accidents that have happened. And then you've got this really weird animation, which I quite like the YouTube channel that this belongs to. If I remember to do it, I'll put the name of the actual YouTube channel down below. I think it's called like 3D World or something like that, and it's just like an animation of two blokes being sick into each other's mouth. So if you want to watch that on YouTube, then go ahead, don't let me stop you. And you've got a quick clip of somebody holding their friend's wound. It's like a shotgun wound or a pistol wound or something, as he dies. There's a guy lying on the floor, dead, and like the top half of his head is like completely split open, revealing his brains. And there's a few ISIS shootings which everybody sort of knelt down and just shot, as you might see in a lot of these kind of videos. Move on, there's two girls crouching next to a cornfield who get shot in the head. And then a video of a dude with his lower jaw just completely missing appears, all bloody and gory. And then for the last final bit, we have a few videos that get separated again, you know, one over there, one over there. and it's basically there's a bike drive-by shooting. Somebody stops on a bike and shoots a guy, and then an escape car comes around the corner to get into it, and they drive off as if nothing happened. You've got a few more ISIS shootings to your left going on, nothing too interesting to say about them. And then they're replaced by a dead guy lined up along a wall with other people, and this guy's been killed already. There's basically blood trickling down the pathway. And then we get another middle video on top of the like two that we're already trying to go cross-eyed for, and it's basically just another like first person shooting video, except the guy or the girl who's being shot you can't really see because it's just way too dark. And then in the background the 3D World YouTube video starts up again, as if we didn't need anything else on our screens. There's a very blurry camcorder video of a man who's just sort of standing in the street as well, just minding his own business. Somebody just walks right up to him and just pops him in the head with one round. I found this one a bit strange. There's like a CCTV video of this Jewish guy, like actual Jewish guy. Don't mean to stereotype, by the way, just saying. And he's fixing his car, and this guy, he must say something to him while he's walking to his car on the other side of the road, and this Jewish guy just sort of flips and goes to this guy and just shoots him. Like, damn. There's just a ton of CCTV footage that goes on, mostly just drive-bys. You might hear laughing in the background, by the way. That's not a background laughing track, that is my family. I do apologise if it sounds or seems a bit out of context. Yeah, it's just a group of CCTV footage, drive-bys and shootings caught on cameras. And this one I found a little bit sad. There was a video of a guy with his like 3-year-old son walking through a supermarket, and some dude just comes up to the dad and just like straight up pops him in the head, and the little kid collapses with him, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that kid must have been traumatized by that. And there's another supermarket CCTV video with a guy wearing a balaclava, and he's in some kind of confrontation, I think, with the shop owner, and he gets knifed in the neck, and he's just sort of flailing around, knocking over like products and all that kind of stuff. And then for about a minute straight we see some heavily edited with like a glitch effect, sad Satan gameplay, well not gameplay, it's just a screen, and then all of a sudden what I believe to be, I don't know his name, but I believe it's a Japanese sex offender. It's one of the sad Satan pictures. I believe it's a Japanese sex offender basically pops up on the screen. And then the final clip just offers a comedy video, I suppose. It's just this kid with an orange on his head, and he's expecting like his brother or something to hit it off his head with a baseball bat, but instead of coming from the side, and this must have hurt, instead of coming from the side he does it going down. So like he hits the orange, obviously, as well as the other kid's head. Yeah, and then it ends. That's it. That's Welcome to Bleaksville 2. Obviously, Cherry Cartel comes up, and then the ending, thank you for watching, all that kind of stuff. There's just a massive clusterfuck of videos. I'm not going to go through everything because it was so edited and so blurry that it was just too hard to make things out. And there were a couple of things that I could make out, such as that cybergoth dance party video, you know, the one that people put like Thomas the Tank Engine soundtrack onto and make them dance to that, as well as like a tiny little clip from South Park, and it all just turns into some kind of like epilepsy triggering video. And there we have it, Welcome to Bleaksville 2 Nightlife. Now I must say you can find these creators or creator on Mondo and Mixtapes on Reddit. It's a subreddit called Mondo and Mixtapes. They've basically got a promotion over there. I believe it's one of the saved things, which I only found out about like the other day. I thought, oh right, I'm covering this. And yeah, big props to them for creating these two mixtapes. They were quite savage, shall we say. They did a good job on them, if their intention was to shock or make you feel sad, then they've definitely achieved that, so good job, very good job. And that's all I've got to say about that, guys. So yeah, a pretty long one. You've probably seen this on Friday night, Saturday morning, so yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching as usual, guys. Like, subscribe, maybe click that little bell next to the subscribe button. You'll get my latest updates. Pretty cool, I think. Stay safe, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.